Hello guys and girls, Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well. And I welcome you to Heliborne, a new, well, not overly new, but a new game for alpha release at least. Um, this game's been in, what's the word I'm looking for? Beta, or the other word I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of at the moment. Um, Early access, that's the one, for quite some time now. So you've probably seen a few videos on it. If you haven't, let me explain it to you. Heliborne is a helicopter game. If you're familiar with War Thunder or World of Tanks, World of Warships, World of Planes, World of Warplanes, sorry, very similar in principle to that. In the sort of unlocking and gameplay feature. Now, this isn't a free-to-play game. That's one of the main differences. It's available on Steam now for, I think it's around about $19 US. And honestly, it's well worth it. It's a very good game, very well made. And considering the small team that they had to make this game, very impressive to say the least. So, it's basically just a helicopter. It's not arcade, it's not really realistic. It's a sort of in-between helicopter flight sim slash capture the point game. Now, it has PvP and PvE involved. Currently, the PvE aspect is just ground targets. There isn't any air targets to be had, but that is going to be changed in the near future. There are options for many different missions. There's actually historical missions that you can partake in, the campaigns, which are actually pretty difficult. I've had a few tries at them and I've had a few failures at them, so that's been quite fun. But there is also the random battles and create your own. And in these modes you can create co-op or PvP battles. Before we do that, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what you can get. So, when you start off with 6 helicopters. You start off with 6 of the USSR helicopters, or the Russian sort of Federation helicopters, and you start off with 3 of the Allied Nation helicopters. So let's just go to our progression tab here. So you start off with some very basic helicopters, nothing too extreme. I would say that Russian helicopters are slightly more interesting because you get some fancy looking little helicopters in there. But as you go, you unlock new helicopters. You get research points to unlock them, and when you do, you get better helicopters. Now, the actual base price for the helicopters is not too bad. I've unlocked most of the rank 1 and rank 2 helicopters and 2 of the rank 3 helicopters, and usually it takes about 1 or 2 games to unlock them. The research points on them is really not bad at all. I imagine you could probably unlock all of the helicopters in about a day's worth of play without too much hassle. The big part for unlocking them comes with the extra parts to them, the upgrades, you can say. And these are just different weapon loadouts. So you can unlock lots of different weapon loadouts and also defensive loadouts too. Let's just look at the Westland Scout here. So with this helicopter, when you unlock it, you have 2 7.62mm machine guns, just the standard fast action standard machine guns, the FNAG machine guns. You have 14 Hydra rockets, 70mm rockets, and you also get a mortar observer. I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a moment. You can then unlock the next rank, which is 28 Hydra rockets. That's the only real difference there. And then finally, you can unlock the ATGMs. So you can have anti-tank guided missiles for this helicopter, which can be very useful for taking out some of the ground targets. Another thing you can unlock are your flare decoys. Now, these are very useful if you're being attacked by heat-seeking missiles. So to take them off your tail, you use them. One other interesting thing is you have ground troops you can set up. And this is this is probably one of my favourite aspects of this game, is the strategic parts of it. Um, Unlike most sort of games of this nature, there's more of a strategic value to it. It's a bit more strategic in its approach than other games of a similar design. So what we'll do is we will just pop to the hangar, and I'll just quickly show you the Westland Scout. Oh no, where am I? I've clicked on the wrong things. I don't want the QE. Where am I going? Probably missed it and being old and crap. There we go. So the Westland Scout, it's a light helicopter developed by the Westland Helicopter Group, well, Westland Helicopters, developed from the SARO P531. It served as a land-based general-purpose military helicopter, and it was very similar to the naval-orientated Westland Wasp helicopter. It was operated by the Army Air Corps and of the British Army, and it served in many conflicts, including Northern Ireland, of course, but also the Falklands War. It was generally phased out, and the Westland Gazelle and the Lynx took over its duties. This is probably one of my favourite helicopters I've had in the game so far. It's a really useful little helicopter, mainly because you've got some good defensive armaments. So when you get the 28 Hydra rockets, you get that second rocket pod there. Now these are unguided rockets, so you know they're not too accurate, but they do cause a lot of damage. As well as the twin 7.62mm machine guns, just rifle caliber machine guns, and you can see them there just set on the landing sleds. You know, not a huge amount of ammunition, but they do the job. Now in here you've got your pilot and co-pilot, but you also have room for 3 extra people. The 3 extra people is the really interesting part, because you can set your soldiers. Now we'll just go to the squadron mode here. We'll just edit my squadron. So with this you get a squadron, and you have 3 helicopters to choose from in the game. So you can respawn in these helicopters, but each helicopter has a different role. So in this squadron setup I've got 2 scout helicopters. So I have the OH-58A, which is an American attack helicopter. Interesting thing, this is what the police use most of the time. It's a very common sort of helicopter, just pretty common in general purpose. But this is the military version, of course, which has a minigun on the side and a lot of rockets built onto it. So this is my second scout helicopter, and then I have this beauty, the HH-53. Now this is your big transport helicopter. In here you've got enough room for 32 soldiers, and as you can see inside there, a lot of troops involved. Now this helicopter doesn't have any offensive armaments, but you do have twin guns on the side here, sponsored mounts with guns. So I've got the 50 cals on this one, I believe. Yep, the big Browning M3 50 cals. And at the back we've got another big old Browning machine gun sat there, ready to take out any enemies that need be. But the main thing for this is your soldiers. These helicopters, transport helicopters, are used to ferry troops around. Now your infantry can take over a landing zone, basically cap a point for you. But then you have the manpad, RPG and mortar teams. These are your anti-air soldiers, and these are only useful in PvP at the moment, so I don't have any in this helicopter just because I'm using it for PvE. The RPG soldiers are very good for taking out tanks and land-based vehicles. They get 4 rockets, so they're very handy for taking out any tanks or anything like that going along the land, and you can place them in strategic locations so they can ambush them. And then finally we have our mortar team. Now mortars are very useful if you've got scout helicopters, because the scouts can call in an artillery strike, The more mortar teams you've got, the more artillery you get. So that's just a quick explanation. There's a lot more in depth in there. But let us go to a mission. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a co-op mission right now. So we're going to go for the rank 2. And we will go for this squadron, which is the one we just looked at. And here you can set the difficulty to what you want. We're going to go easy just for this mode. We'll have 4 simultaneous objectives, and we'll have it co-op for 4 people. Let's go for 12 objectives and just go for regular, so make it a bit of a quick game in all honesty. We'll join battle, and it will load up here. The player base is still sort of growing, of course, so there are a few players online pretty much all the time, which is nice. But the good thing is in a co-op battle is you can sort of do it all yourself, or the more players you get, the easier it is. So in this mission, support your ground forces trying to capture enemy main bases. Help them to reach it by any route from your main base. Capture landing zones in order to request immediate vehicle reinforcement for it. Landing zone reinforcements with soldiers and vehicles provide vehicle reinforcements surrounding landing zones. Team wins when armoured convoy reaches the enemy main base. Even if you lose one or several landing zones in your rear, you can still attack using your forward landing zones. So, let's get started. Here you see the map. We're in Vietnam right here in the Nguyen Ho region. So our main base is over here, and we need to capture some of these points. Now this is our main objective at the moment. There's some enemy vehicles in that area, but we want to get some troops on the ground. So let's go for our supply helicopter. Now this thing is not going to be good in a firefight, but it is good for getting troops out. So we've got the objectives coming up. Support a convoy from 7 to 6. So we've got a friendly convoy going to the enemy base at 6. Find and destroy the enemy vehicle group in the marked area, which is the marked area above 6, I think. Defend landing zone 8 from attack. Enemies en route from landing zone 4. So landing zone 10's been captured, so we're going to get some anti-aircraft fire. We're going to try and outrun this, but we might be in some bad luck here. Taking some critical damage. We're going to try and dart behind this ridgeline, and as you can see, we've taken a fair whack of damage there, unfortunately. You've got to be very careful because helicopters are not the most durable of vehicles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to land up on this ridgeline here, and we're going to set out a mortar team. Bit of a rough landing there. So let's set out our mortar team up on this hill. We'll unload all of our mortar soldiers up here. As you can see, they'll get into position. And we need to get over to 8 to try and stop those enemy vehicles getting into that zone. As you can see, it's taking a pounding. The soldiers there are getting an absolute hammering. So where are those vehicles? Seem to be okay at the moment. We're going to try and set up an ambush. As you can see, there's some fire coming in. We're going to land over here in these trees. I'll try to land, and we're going to set out the rocket troops into these bushes. And we're also going to reinforce this base with some of the ground troops. Now we'll try and keep low here so we don't get hit by the enemy convoy coming in. We've got to be quick here though, because that enemy convoy will really damage us. So we'll set our troops out, and let's get the heck out of Dodge. Okay. So as you see, those are firing off many rockets and machine guns at us. We really need to get out, and we did not escape in time. We are down. So we need to hop to a new plane, a new helicopter. So we're going to take out the Westland Scout now. Now we have that mortar team set down. So let's get over to 8 and try and give them some support. So as you can see in this helicopter, we've got 3 soldiers on board, so that means we can capture a base. Now we've got a chap over 10. He's attacking 10, but we're going to try and head to 8. Hopefully that guy there will be able to keep things under control. Now, in the scout helicopter, you also get your binoculars that you can use to spot the enemy targets. Let's get our mortar teams ready. And let's fire off some mortar rounds here. Now, we're going to try and take out these vehicles coming in. So, those mortar strikes are coming in pretty well here. We need to fire a little bit in the front of these guys. There we go, taking out many of the light vehicles. There's a tank though there. Fire off a few rockets at him. Come in for a fast low pass on these AAA defences, and we will try our best to take these out as soon as possible with our rockets. Now we're out of rockets now, so let's see if we can take this tank out. Hopefully these mortars will land on top of it. A little bit slow there, but we got it. Beautiful. Okay, that's that tank taken out. Okay, so number 8 is down, so we need to defend landing zone 7. Now luckily those vehicles going towards 7 have been destroyed, so that should help with the defense. Now we're going to land at 8 and unload some of our soldiers. Ooh. Get on the landing pad first. Unload our troops. So we only have 3 troops, so we can get this to 50% strength. Not perfect, but we'll have to do for now. So landing zone 7 does look safe, but we don't have any troops to take the base, unfortunately. Now let's have a look at number 6. So number 6, we've got some targets spotted for us. Let's get some mortars off on these guys, and I will try and avoid this AAA fire. There we go. Okay, good. The mortaring worked very well there. The mortars are very handy in that respect. Now we're going to return to base. So we have a Huey coming over, and that should have a few troops on board to unload and get some soldiers on the ground. So we've managed to capture landing base 7 and 6, I think it is. So that's good news. How many mortars have we got left? So our mortar crews are looking good. So we have a few more players in the game now, so that will make life a lot easier. Now, as you can see up the top there, we've got objectives to get. So once we get to 12 objectives, we will win the game. Or we can win the game by taking out the bases. We're having a Chinook over there coming in, so that's always handy because they've got quite a good troop capacity. I can't say the word. Capability. There we go. There we go. Spoke English. But also the Chinook has got a very good sort of defensive armament as well. It carries quite a few rockets and things like that. So we'll land here and get some much needed repairs and get some rearmament, get our rockets reloaded. And we'll also get some more troops. So what objectives have we got? We're probably not going to get to landing zone 2. Landing zone 7 is being recaptured, so hopefully we'll get that objective done, because it seems to be pretty safe from the enemy troops. Find and destroy enemy infantry, we're not going to make that one in time. So let's go to landing zone 7 and try and capture that. Hopefully that will get us to the objective complete. Now the flying is really good in this game. One of the real strong points of it is the mouse flying is very handy. It feels very natural, which is always handy. So that's the landing zone done, and we've also got the one of the objectives done, which is nice. Now, every time you do something, you score points. Up in the right-hand corner, you'll see the little star there, and that's your research point, your experience, basically. So the more tasks you do, the more enemies you kill, the more little things you do in the game, the more research points you'll get for the end of the game. Of course, winning helps a little bit, but you don't end up with huge amounts of experience and things like that. Let's mark number 2, see what we can find. Now we're going to get some fire here. Hopefully it's pretty inaccurate. Let's send the mortars out. Hopefully that will take out that AA that's firing at us. Let's dart to the left a little bit. We'll try and avoid these shots coming in. So that's that light AAA vehicle taken out. Okay, let's fire some more mortars off in here. Try and get some more damage done to this base. Take out a few of these vehicles. And as you'll see, when we kill a vehicle, we get about 3 or 4 research points for it. As I say, it's not a great deal of points you get, but every little helps. So light vehicles are about 3 research points. Heavy vehicles are around about 5, so that's your tanks, things like that. And AAA is about 2. So, as I say, it's not huge amounts, but it does help a little bit. Oh, no, 3-2. So there we go, landing zone 2 is clear of the enemy. So that's good. Now, number 9 needs some help. We've got to locate and destroy some enemy troops over there. Now, we're quite far out, so it looks like we've got somebody heading in there right now, so that's good. That Chinook is flying along nice and low, so it looks like he's heading towards number 9 as well. So we'll try and support him the best we can. Because with these... with the Chinooks, things like that, they do tend to suffer a little bit because we got a enemy troop just down there. Nope, he's been taken out. Good, good. So one of the important roles for a scout helicopter is you will be able to spot enemies with your binoculars. And that makes life an awful lot easier for everybody involved, really. So we've got a convoy going from 8 to 4, so let's get over to 8 and let's do some flying. So the convoy will be leaving very shortly, I believe. They'll probably pop up in a few moments. I don't think they've left yet. Let's see them. Nope, they have. So they're heading to base number 1. We need to support them. So let's get there ASAP. Now that convoy is going to be heading along, so let's get our binoculars online. Now there's some enemy troops in the area, so let's just keep an eye out for these guys. Let's see if we can spot any of these rascally Viet Cong. Number 1, so let's get the mortar crews firing. We want to take out the AAA support the AAA defences as quick as possible. Get a little bit closer. Our mortar crews just can't reach that point though, unfortunately. So we need to reposition our mortar crews, I think. So yeah, we're just out of range there, unfortunately. So we can try a long distance rocket barrage. We might get lucky. Let's just spread our rockets quite thin, but we are in some serious trouble. Let's get the heck out of Dodge. Probably weren't going to do too well in that situation. Oh, and we are going down. So we might need to reposition our mortar crews. So let's hop back in the HH53. And where did we pop our mortar crew? Try and remember now. So, I think they were somewhere. They were somewhere for sure. They weren't over 10, were they? Were they? Maybe they were. I think that's where I popped them. We'll find them, hopefully. So we need to get those mortar crews and reposition them. But we don't need to worry too much because we've got the victory. So, that's Heliborne. I'd say a pretty easy game there. In easy mode, in co-op, it's not too bad at all. It's really not too much of a stressful situation. And got 88 research points, so that's all good. Which will be enough to get me probably a new helicopter. Let's have a look. I could unlock the flying banana over here, but I don't want to. It's a very good helicopter for troop movement, but yeah, I'm not too interested in that or the Chinook. As I say, that I do love the Chinook helicopter, but it's at the moment I'm not worrying too much about it. But can we do any research? That's the question. So we've got our Cobra here, our Bell Cobra. Not enough rock points to research anything in that one. Let's just check our Black Hawk here, which is one of our newest purchases. So that's all good. We can't research anything in there either. Doopy-doopy-doo. Anything else worth researching? The Bell Textron, that's not enough points to research. I think we've got everything under control. I don't think we can get the scout finished off yet. No, we still need a few more points. So another game will be in order to unlock those. But I'm going to end here. I hope you found this a bit of an interesting video. Let me know below, like, comment, subscribe, you know, the usual things that YouTubers say. The important things, of course. And let me know if you'd like to see some more Heliborne as well. I've really been enjoying this game. And if you're on and fancy a game, just give me a shout as well. Screezilla, nice and easy to find, of course. Well, until next time, this is me out, Screezilla. Have a lovely night, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, before I forget, I'm almost at 50,000 views, which is just unbelievable to me. I'm also at, I think, almost about 140 subscribers as well, which is all mind-boggling to me as well. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's watched these videos and that has subscribed. It means an awful lot to me, and I do hope you're enjoying the content. Thank you all so very much, and I'll see you next time. This is Scree out. Bye-bye.